Welcome to Cambridge Chemistry channel with Sarwat Ahmed. Today I will be solving chemistry paper 1 multiple choice 5070 variant 1-2 from October November 2021. Let's start. In titration, 25 centimeter cube of aqueous sodium hydroxide is transferred into a conical flask. A few drops of indicator are added. Dilute hydrochloric acid is then added to the flask until the end point is reached. Which piece of apparatus are used to measure volume in this experiment? To measure dilute hydrochloric acid, uh, sodium hydroxide is transferred into conical flask. So this is transferred into a conical flask. The apparatus used to transfer into conical flask is pipette, and a few drops of indicator dilute hydrochloric acid is then added to the flask until the end point is reached. And dilute hydrochloric acid is taken in burette. So burette, to measure dilute hydrochloric acid, burette is used to measure dilute hydrochloric acid, and pipette is used to transfer 25 centimeter cube of sodium hydroxide into conical flask is pipette. So B option is correct. Question number 2. A student follows the rate of reaction marble chips, calcium carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. Which diagram shows apparatus that with a stopwatch is suitable for this experiment? For this experiment, carbon dioxide gas is evolved, which is collected in measuring cylinder or by using gas syringe, or calcium carbonate is used up in this reaction, and which is used to measure with the balance. Which diagram shows apparatus that with stopwatch is suitable for this experiment? So this can be used and this can be used. This can be used to measure the volume of gas, and this will be used to measure the mass of reactant used. So this cannot be used. Question number 1 and 2 is the correct answer. B is correct option. Pure oxygen is needed by many industries. How is pure oxygen obtained in large amount for such uses? By decomposition of calcium carbonate. By decomposition, calcium carbonate gives calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is not correct. By decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. H2O and O2, but this is not used to this reaction is not used to obtain oxygen, which is used in large amount for such uses. So this is incorrect. By filtration of liquid air, this is also not correct. By fractional distillation of liquid air, this is used to obtain oxygen in large amount for such uses. So D option is correct. An impure sample of compound X has a melting point of 120 degrees centigrade. X is purified and its melting point is measured. Again, which row is correct? Method of purifying X is melting point of pure X is melting point of X has a melting point 1 20 degrees centigrade. X is purified and its melting point is measured again. Which row is correct? Crystallization 115 degrees centigrade is below than 120 degrees centigrade, so it cannot correct. Distillation, so in distillation with 115 degrees centigrade, 120 degrees centigrade is the melting point, while in distillation it could not be 115 degrees centigrade, could be boiling point of that liquid. Crystallization is correct, but and 125 degrees centigrade, because when it is solid its melting point is 125 degrees centigrade, so this could be correct. Impure sample, and this is correct because melting point, this is 120 degrees centigrade, that is impure solid, because impurities lowers the melting point and rises the boiling point. So impure sample has lower melting point, so it could be 125, so this option is correct. When aqueous sodium hydroxide is added, compound X, a red brown precipitate is formed. When dilute nitric acid followed by aqueous sodium barium nitrate is added to aqueous compound X, a white precipitate formed. The sodium hydroxide compound X, red brown, that is iron 3 ions precipitate is formed when dilute nitric acid followed by aqueous barium nitrate. Added for barium nitrate, it must be sulfate ions compound X, white precipitate of barium sulfate is formed. With white precipitate, that could be sulfate ion along with the iron 3 ions. So what is X? So it must be D, iron 3 sulfate, that is iron 3 ions and sulfate ions. This is the test of iron 3 ions, and this is the test of sulfate ion. So it must be iron 3 sulfate. An aqueous solution of zinc chloride is tested by adding reagents, which observation is correct. Reagent added to zinc chloride, added aqueous barium nitrate, forms a white precipitate. Aqueous ammonia forms a white precipitate. Incorrect. Aqueous ammonia forms a white precipitate soluble in excess of the reagent. This is for zinc, which is soluble in excess of the reagent. Aqueous sodium hydroxide is correct, forms a white precipitate insoluble in reagent. This is incorrect because soluble in excess of the reagent, so this is also incorrect. Powdered copper is not a correct option. So this is B is the correct option. Question number 7. A sample of gas is released at a particular point in a laboratory. Detecting device is placed 10 meters from the point where the gas is released. This device records the time when the concentration of the gas is 10 molecules in every million molecule of air. The experiment is carried out with two gases at different temperatures. In which experiment was the time recorded by the detector first greatest? SF6, just calculate the MR of the compound. SF6 is sulfur 32, 19 into 6 is equal to sulfur 32 plus 19 into 6 is equal to, this is 146, this is 146, and carbon dioxide is, carbon is 12, oxygen is 32 into 2, so that is 44. So the experiment is carried out with two gases at different temperatures. In which experiment was the time recorded by the detector greatest? This is 20 degrees centigrade, SF6 time detector greatest. More the MR and lower the temperature, taking more time to diffuse. So SF6 is 146 MR and this is lower temperature. So in this experiment where sulfur hexafluoride is used, taking more time at lowest temperature. So A option must be correct. The table shows data for some particles. Sodium ions, chloride ions, proton number, nucleon number, number of protons, number of neutrons, number of neutrons. Sodium ions 11, 23, and number of neutrons will be 12 because 23 minus 11 is equal to 12. Fluoride ions 19 nucleon, 9 number proton, and 10 number neutron. This is fluoride ions, and because fluoride negative, this is negative ions, and negative ions number of electrons will be more than the number of protons. So this is -1, so 1 electrons more than the number of protons, so this will be 10. Magnesium and 12, 24, and number of proton will be number of proton number is 12, nucleon number is 24, and number of proton will be 12. So this is 12, 10, W is 12 and X is 10 and magnesium ion is 10y, sorry, 12y. C option is correct. A covalent compound P has the empirical formula CH2O. Which structure represents P? This is CH2O2. CH2, not only CH2. So this is incorrect because empirical formula would be CH2O. This is C2H4O2. 2 1 the 2, 2 to the 4, 2 1 the 2. So this will be CH2 must be correct. So this is C2H4O. This is not the correct answer because all elements must be simple multiple of each other. The same is the empirical formula. This is the empirical. 1 2 3. This is 3 carbon. 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 C3H6O2. And all elements are not simple multiple of each other, so the empirical formula will be C3H6O2. So B option is correct. Which statement about the structure of bonding of metals is correct? A metal lattice consists of a negative ion in a negative ions in a sea of electron is incorrect. Electrons in a metal move randomly through the electrons in the metal move randomly through the lattice. Metals are malleable because the ions present in mobile. The ions in the metal move when positive and negative electrodes are attached. So electrons in a metal move randomly through the lattice. B must be correct. The relative atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5. What is the mass of 2 mole of chlorine gas? 2Cl2. So mass is equal to mole into mr. So mole is 2 and chlorine mr is 35.5 into 2, that is equal to 71. The answer would be 142 gram. So this is correct option. Which gas react the volume of gaseous reactant may be different from the volume of gaseous product? May be different. For which reaction is the percentage change in the volume of gas largest? Percentage change. Assume each reaction goes to completion. Each reaction goes to completion. Sulfur dioxide, excuse me, 2 moles of sulfur dioxide produces 2 moles of for each reaction is the percentage change in the volume of gas largest. Volume of gas, that mole is directly proportional to volume of gas. Less the mole, more is the volume. And more the moles, more will be volume. So there is 3 moles producing 2 moles, and over here 3 moles producing 3 moles. This is equal, this is 3 moles, 3 and 4 moles, producing 2 moles or 2 volume. Mole is directly proportional to volume of gas, so mole is equal to volume. This is 2, 7, 9, 6 or 4, 10. So this is change in mole is 1 in this reaction, 2, and in this reaction 1, no change, 3 mole to 2 mole, 1 mole. So 2 moles, C option is correct, because in this change in volume of gas is the largest, and we know that the mole is directly proportional to volume. If there are 4 moles, it is 4 volume, and over here 2 mole, 2 volume. So C option is correct. Sodium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. A sample containing 0.0800 mole of sodium carbonate is added to a solution containing a 0.100 mole of hydrochloric acid. Okay. Which volume of carbon dioxide is produced measured at room temperature and pressure? A sample containing is added to sodium carbonate containing 0.100 mole, 0.0800. So this is 0.0800 and this is 0.100. So find out the limiting reactant. 2 divided by 1. It is equal to mole of HCl will be equal to 0.1 divided by 2. It is equal to 0.05. So 0.05 and this is 0.0800. So mole of sodium carbonate will be excess, and this is limiting reactant. This is limiting and this is excess. Taking mole ratio with carbon dioxide with limiting mole, HCl ratio carbon dioxide 2:1 and 0.100 ratio X. Mole of carbon dioxide is 0.050 and volume is 0.050 into 24 decimeter cube. Zero point 050 into 24 0.05 into 24 is equal to 1.20 dm cube. So B is the correct option. This is equal to 1.20 dm cube. Which statement about the electrolysis of solution is correct? During the electrolysis of concentrated aqueous sodium chloride solution, hydrogen is produced at the cathode. Which electrolysis of solution is correct. During the electrolysis of concentrated aqueous sodium chloride solution, hydrogen is produced. Yes. Sodium chloride has sodium ion, chloride ion, H positive and OH negative. So hydrogen ion is positive. So hydrogen ion preferentially discharge at the cathode. So the gas is this is reaction is carried out is going on at the cathode. H2 gas. So this option is correct. Let's check other option. During the electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid, oxygen is produced at the cathode, not cathode at anode. Oxygen is produced at anode. When aqueous copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed, the reaction taking place at the cathode is Cu2 positive, not +1 to form copper over here 2 electron. So this is also incorrect. When aqueous copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrode, the mass of the anode at the end of the reaction will be greater. No, it will be lesser than at the beginning. So A option is correct. D is also incorrect. Question number 15. The apparatus shown is set up to plate a steel key with copper. The key does not get coated with copper. Which change needs to be made to plate the key? This should be negative, and the connection is not correct. This is negative terminal, and this should be positive, and connection is this one. So this is positive terminal and this is negative terminal. Increase the concentration of the copper 2 sulfate, incorrect. Increase the voltage. Replace the solution with dilute sulfuric acid. Reverse the electrical connection. This must be correct. The equation shows the reaction of glucose with oxygen. Which statement about this reaction is correct? It can occur in dark. This is photosynthesis reaction. It is present in the presence of sunlight. It occurs in the presence of sunlight. This is photosynthesis reaction. It is endothermic. Yes, it is endothermic. It needs chlorophyll as a catalyst. It occurs in plants but not in animals. About this reaction is correct. So it is correct but not in context of this reaction. This shown this equation shows the reaction of glucose with oxygen. This is respiration reaction. This is respiration. It can occur in the dark. Yes, it can occur. It is endothermic. No, it is exothermic. It needs chlorophyll. No, it occurs in plants, but then it occurs in plants as well as in animals. So this is also, it can occur in dark as well. The energy profile diagram of chemical reaction is shown. Which statement is correct? The reaction is exothermic. No, reaction is not exothermic, it is endothermic reaction, because heat taken in more than heat given out. X represents the activation energy for the reaction. No, it is not the activation energy. Activation energy is represented by X represents the activation energy. Yes, this is correct because X is the activation energy, and Y represents the activation energy of reverse reaction, and Z is enthalpy, not the correct one. This is enthalpy change. Y represents the enthalpy change, incorrect. These represent the energy given out as a reaction. So this is B is the correct option. The equation shows the reaction for the manufacture of ammonia, which will decrease the activation energy of the catalyst of the reaction. Addition of catalyst lowers the activation energy, so A must be correct. Decrease in temperature will not affect the activation energy. Increase in concentration, increase in pressure, all these factors affecting the reversible reaction but not affect the activation energy. Only catalyst lowers the activation energy of the reaction, so A must be correct. The apparatus shows a method following the rate of reaction between magnesium carbonate and dilute nitric acid. The reaction is given magnesium carbonate to form magnesium with nitric acid to form magnesium nitrate and water and carbon dioxide. Okay, the graph shows the volume of gas collected against time. What volume of gas? Volume of gas. Three statements are made about the experiment. The mass of the flask and its content decreases as time. Yes, it is correct, because reactants are used up as the reaction proceeds. The rate of the reaction decreases as time increases. Yes, rate of reaction decreases as the time increases, because reactants are used up gradually with the passage of time. The reaction has finished after 4 minutes. Yes, the reaction has finished after 4 minutes, because straight line shows that reaction is over. So three statement is also correct. So which statements are correct? 1, 2, 3, all statements are correct. The option is A. Aqueous bromine is added to aqueous sodium chloride. Aqueous bromine Br2 plus sodium chloride. So bromine cannot displace chloride ion from the chlorine from the sodium chloride, aqueous sodium chloride, because bromine is less reactive than sodium chloride. So no reaction. Bromine is oxidized and chloride ions are reduced. Nothing happened. So incorrect. Bromine is reduced and chloride ion oxidized. Neither oxidation nor reduction. This is correct option. Which statement is correct for all reversible reactions that have reached dynamic equilibrium? Introduction of catalyst changes the position of equilibrium. So catalyst does not change the position of equilibrium. It actually, in fact, it prevails the dynamic equilibrium. The number of moles of products equals the number of mole of reactants. The number of moles of products equal the number of moles of reactant. No, number of moles are not equal to the number of moles of products. Actually, there is no net change. There is no net change in concentration of reactant and product products. So that it is incorrect. Rate of the forward reaction equals the rate of reverse. This is correct. C option must be correct. Which statement about acids and bases is correct? A 0.1 mole per dm cube solution of ethanoic acid has a higher value than a 0.1 mole per dm cube solution of hydrochloric acid. 0.1 mole of ethanoic acid has higher pH than yes. Ethanoic acid has pH 3 while hydrochloric acid is 1. So ethanoic acid has higher pH than 0.1 mole per dm cube solution. All bases dissolve in water to produce all bases, no, not all bases, because all bases are not soluble. So it will not produce OH ions. It is incorrect. Bases react with nitrate to produce ammonia. All bases will not react with nitrate to produce ammonia. Only aqueous alkali react with the nitrates to produce ammonia. Oxides of metals along with aluminium foil. Oxides of metals are always acidic in characters. No, basic in character. So A option must be correct. Which compound can be formed by precipitation? This is soluble salt and this is also soluble. Both can be formed by titration because these are group 1 salt. Titration, not precipitation. Calcium nitrate is also soluble, so it is formed by using filtration and crystallization. Lead sulfate is insoluble. This is insoluble salt and can be formed by precipitation. So D option must be correct. Which methods could be used to make a pure sample of copper 2 sulfate? Acid plus metal carbonate. Which method could be used to make pure? This can be acid plus metal oxide. Yes, acid plus metal not, because copper does not react with dilute acids. Precipitation is not correct, so the best option is 1 and 2. So A option must be correct. Question number 25. Ammonia is made by reversible reaction. Ammonia is made by reversible reaction. A chemist investigates how the percentage of ammonia at equilibrium changes with pressure. The experiment is carried out at 250 and at 350 degrees centigrade. Each graph shows the chemist's result. How the percentage of ammonia at equilibrium changes with pressure. So 350 degrees centigrade and 250 degrees centigrade. The percentage of ammonia at equilibrium. At 350 degrees centigrade it is more, and this is lower pressure, and 250 at this pressure and 350 at this pressure, but at 250 degrees centigrade percentage of ammonia is more than at 350. With pressure. This is compromising. This is at 2 pressure 250 degrees centigrade is so this is not correct. This is not correct. At 350 degrees centigrade, this is low temperature. At this pressure producing more ammonia. High temperature at this pressure producing less. So B option must be correct. 350 degrees centigrade at lower pressure is not correct. B option must be correct. Which statement about sulfur dioxide is correct? It is dissolved in water to make sulfuric acid for it is dissolved in water to make sulfuric acid for car batteries. Sulfur dioxide it is the use of sulfuric acid, not sulfur dioxide. It is incorrect. It is the final product of the contact process. No, it is not final product. Final product is sulfuric acid. So it is incorrect. It's used as a food. Yes, this is the use of sulfur dioxide. It is used as a food preservatives. So C must be correct. It turns aqueous potassium iodide brown. No, potassium iodide is a reducing agent, and sulfur dioxide is also reducing agent. So it does not turn aqueous potassium iodide brown. Question number 27. The diagram shows part of the periodic table. This is metal. This is transition metal. Group 7 or 6. And this is group 6, group 7. And these are non-metals. Okay, which two letters represent elements that can react together to form a covalent compound? Metal plus non-metal form ionic compound, while non-metal plus non-metal form covalent. So Y and Z is correct. D option must be correct. Which statement about some of the elements in the periodic table is correct? The elements germanium in group 4 has less metallic character than gallium in group 3. This is present in group 4 and this is group 3. Group 3 less metallic character than group 4. This is metallic. Group 1 till 3 are metals mostly, and group 4 are non-metals. So germanium has less metallic character than gallium. This is correct. Elements in group 5 form ions with a charge 5 plus ion 5. No, 3 negative ion Incorrect. Elements in same group reacts in a similar way because they all contain the same number of elements in the same group react in a similar way because they all contain the same number of electrons. No, same number of electrons and protons. Sum of the elements. This is the same elements in the same group, and so this is not correct. Transition elements are given this name as they easily change from solid to liquids. No, this is not correct. Transition elements are given as they have variable oxidation state. More than transition state mean they have more than 2 charge. More than 2 charge. More than 1 charge like iron 2 or iron 3. So A must be correct. These statements are about the halogens. All halogens are non-metallic, diatomic, yes, non-metallic. Chlorine displaces both bromine and iodine. Yes, bromine and iodine are less reactive than chlorine, so chlorine can displace bromine and iodine from aqueous solution of their salts. This is also correct. The halogen becomes more reactive on descending group. No, halogen become less reactive. So this is incorrect. 1 and 2 statements are correct, then option is B. Which two statements indicate that metal M may have proton number between 21 and 23? It conducts electricity, yes. It does not react with water, correct. It forms two basic oxide with, yes, variable oxidation state, form more than two types of compound with different oxidation states. It forms two colored sulfates. It forms two colored sulfates. Yes, it is correct. So 3 and 4 correct. 1, 3, 4 have, there is no option for 1, 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, there is 3 and 4, so it must be D. The table gives properties of 4 metals P, Q, R and S. Metals of reaction, method of extraction P, Q, R and S. 4 metals. Electrolysis only, no reaction, reaction with water, no reaction, reacts slowly. Heating oxide with carbon, reacts slowly with steam, reacts slowly with acids. Electrolysis only, reacts rapidly with steam, reacts rapidly. Heating oxide with carbon, no reaction, yes, no reaction with water and no reaction with acids. Heating oxide with carbon, yes. PQRS, heating with carbon, no reaction with water, yes, reaction with acid, no reaction. Heating oxides with carbon, reacts slowly with steam, reacts slowly. So no, all metals like there is copper and there is lead. their oxides react with carbon to form copper and carbon monoxide. Similarly, so for not all metal oxide heating with carbon, they copper do not show copper and lead both do not show any reaction with water and not with acid. So S is correct. Which statement is correct? P is the least reactive. No, P is not the least reactive. Q would displace R from solution of its salt. Q heating oxide with carbon reacts slowly, with steam reacts slowly. Q would displace R. Electrolysis only. So it is incorrect because Q is less reactive than R, because R electrolysis can be extracted by using electrolysis only, and Q heating oxide, so which are less reactive, the metals which can be extracted from electrolysis only. So it is incorrect. R could be zinc. R could be reacts rapidly with steam, reacts rapidly. Yes, R could be reacts rapidly with steam, not rapidly with steam, moderately react with steam, so and reacts rapidly with acid. So it could not be, R could be zinc, and R cannot be extracted from its ore by using electrolysis. So this is incorrect. S could be copper. Yes, S could be copper, which react with carbon to form copper and carbon monoxide. Which question number 32? Which statements about extracting metals from their ores are correct? Aluminium is extracted by electrolysis of aluminium oxide dissolving in cryolite. This is correct. Silver is difficult to extract from its ores because of its low reactivity. Because of, yes, it is incorrect. Silver is easily oxidized. Simple heating get simple heating get silver, or if silver nitrate also AgO NO2 Ag simple and oxygen gas. So this is correct statement. Is difficult to extract? Yes, it is incorrect. Iron is extracted from hematite by reduction in blast furnace. By reduction, yes, it is correct statement. So 1 and 3B is correct. Question number 33. Which statement about the corrosion of iron are correct? Corrosion can be prevented by coating the iron with zinc. Yes. Corrosion only occurs in the presence of both air and water. So these are the conditions. So this statement is also correct. Rust is an alloy of iron and oxygen. Rust is an alloy of alloy. This is not alloy. This is the Fe2O3 is not an alloy. Sacrificial protection occurs when iron is connected to least reactive metal. No, most reactive metal. More reactive metals. So 1 and 2 are correct. Option is A. Question number 34. In the extraction of aluminum from aluminum oxide, following 3 reaction takes place. Which reaction takes place at the positive electrode? Aluminium is positive ions, so it is at negative electrode, and negative ions, this is negative ions, so happen at positive electrode. So when oxygen gas is evolved, start reacting with carbon anode, also at anode. These two reactions at anode, or 2 and 3. So if 2 and 3 statement are correct, then option is D. Which statement are correct? Chlorination is used to remove unpleasant taste from drinking water. No. Carbon is used to remove unpleasant taste from drinking waters. Incorrect. Desalination can be obtained using distillation. Yes, desalination can be achieved using distillation. The presence of phosphates in water and soil encourages. This is the source of alkyl plants. So 3 is also correct. So 2 and 3 means option is C. 2 isomers are shown. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which statements about these isomers are correct? They have the same empirical formula. C4 6 2 C4H10 2 to the power 9. Yes, it is correct. This is C because they have same molecular formula, so that they have same empirical formula. C2H5 and C2H5. They have different molecular formula. No, it is not correct. They are members of the same homologous series. Yes, they are member of same homologous series. Statement 1 and 3 are correct. The option is B. Question number 37. On hydrocarbon compound Q has a molecular formula CXHY. Q reacts with hydrogen to form a single product with a molecular formula CXHY plus 2. With hydrogen to form a single product with the molecular formula. Q does not burn in air. Yes. Which statement Q? This is XY plus 2. CXHY. Q has a molecular formula CXHY but CnH2n. So CnH2n plus 2. Which statement Q is correct? Q does not burn in air. It is incorrect. Q burn in air. Q is a saturated hydrocarbon. Incorrect. It is unsaturated hydrocarbon. Q as reaction with to form a single product. This is the addition reaction. Q reacts with bromine to form a single product with the molecular formula CXHY minus 1 is not correct. CXHY plus 2Br. So it is also incorrect. Q reacts with steam to form a single product with the molecular formula CXHY plus 2O. Yes, this is correct. CXHY plus 2O. This is alcohol. So this option is correct. Question number 38. Which structural formula represents an alcohol? Structural formula represents an alcohol. B. It is ether. This is also ether epoxy compound, and this is carboxylic acid. So B must be correct. Which statement about carboxylic acid is correct? They are prepared by the oxidation of alkanes. No. They decolorizes bromine water. Not correct. They react with alcohols to form ester. Yes, this must be correct. They react with carbonates to form salt, hydrogen and water, not hydrogen carbon dioxide. So this is also incorrect. P is a polymer, has 6 carbon atoms in each of the monomers from which it is formed. It's not a polyester, is formed using condensation polymerization. It's not a polyester, so this is incorrect. This is addition polymer, so it is also incorrect. So B and C, but count the number of carbon atom. Over here 6, over here 6 plus 8, 2 is equal to 8, so this is incorrect. 6 carbon